Emma felt the
Don't look so
danger before she
frightened.
even saw his face.
I won't bite.
The train rattled through the Kansas
Your
plains,
presence is
sun
unsettling.
burning through the windows, and a heavy boot suddenly hooked the leg of her seat as if to claim it. She looked up and saw him. Frank Daly, a man with a grin that felt like a hand on her throat. He leaned closer as the train rocked. His breath smelled of whiskey and dust. "So you traveling alone, sweetheart?" Emma tightened her grip on her travel satchel. "Please keep your distance," Frank chuckled softly as if her fear entertained him. "I like the shy ones. Makes the surprise sweeter." Passengers around them pretended not to hear. He placed his hand on the bench just inches from her thigh. "You got a name, or should I call you mine?" Emma forced herself to look away, eyes fixed on the passing fields, trying to breathe. She had come here for a marriage contract, a fresh start, a chance to belong. Not this. Frank leaned even closer. "You know what men around here like," she whispered. "Please stop." Frank laughed again. "I asked you a question, a darling. You going to answer?" Emma stood up fast, trying to slip past him. Frank rose too, blocking her path with a confident shift of his body. His hand brushed her waist, and she gasped and stumbled backward. The train screeched as it slowed into Dodge City. A broad-shouldered rancher in a worn cavalry coat stepped onto the platform, scanning faces with the wary look of a man who had seen too much war and too many bad seasons. Cole Turner. His hands bore the scars of Gettysburg and bad winters alike. Emma had never seen him, yet somehow knew it was him. Frank followed her off the train and noticed where she was looking, his smile twisted. "Well, now you must be the little bride," he ordered. He had heard the conductor joking with another hand about a farmer out of Dodge City, about a man named Cole Turner, who had ridden east for a bride. Frank had land just a few miles outside that town, and in a place this small, news did not stay on the tracks for long. Emma froze. Frank stepped behind her and murmured close to her ear, "That rancher is old, weak. A man like that can't protect a woman like you." Emma pulled away from him and hurried toward Cole. Her legs felt heavy, but she pushed forward anyway. Cole met her with unsure eyes. "Are you Emma Whitfield?" She nodded. Before she could speak another word, Frank tipped his hat and called out, "Take good care of her, Cole. She's a pretty one." Then, he walked off the platform, still smiling like he already owned the ending. Later at the ranch, Emma slipped on loose hay. Cole caught her quickly, gripping too hard in his rush to steady her. Both fell onto the soft pile, her dress tore at the thigh. Cloth ripping loud in the quiet barn. "Don't. You tore my dress." Her voice shook. Cole stepped back at once, his jaw tight. "I grabbed you too rough. That will not happen again." Lying there in the hay, Emma realized one hard truth. Out here, a woman either found the right man to stand in front of her or she learned to stand alone. You ever wonder what kind of man you would trust to stand in front of you out there? Emma did not sleep well that first night at the ranch. Every sound felt louder in the dark. The hoot of an owl, the creak of an old board. Even the whisper of the wind seemed too close. She kept seeing Frank on that train, leaning in with that awful grin, like he already owned her fate. Then she saw Cole in the barn, wide-eyed and ashamed as he backed away from her torn dress. Two men, two very different kinds of fear. The morning sun warmed the yard, but Emma still felt the chill from the night before. Cole waited on the porch with 2 tin cups of coffee. He did not look at her right away. He just held the second cup out like a peace offering. His voice was low and soft. "Emma, I am sorry about yesterday, but I should have been more careful." She nodded once. "I know you did not mean to scare me." Cole looked relieved, but not fully. Men like him carried guilt the way other folks carried dust on their boots. Once it settled, it never fully left. He showed her around the ranch, step by step, speaking gently, pausing often like he did not want to overwhelm her. The open fields stretched forever, golden in the morning light, the cattle grazed near the fence. It was peaceful in a way Emma had never known. Still, she felt a strange tension in the air. As if something unwanted lingered close. That feeling proved right. Frank rode up just before noon, smiling like he had been invited. His ranch sat over the far ridge, close enough that he could see coal smoke on a clear day. He had run cattle along this valley for years, and he liked to think every fence post around here owed him something. He tipped his hat at Emma with the same hungry eyes she had seen on the train. "Morning, sweetheart. Hope the ranch is treating you kindly." Emma stepped back without thinking. Cole noticed. His jaw tightened. "Say what you came to say, Frank. Then ride on." Frank shrugged. "Maybe I am just checking on my new neighbor. Maybe I am checking on your future bride. A man never knows what might happen out here." Emma felt her stomach knot. Cole stepped between them with a quiet firmness. "She is under my roof. That means she is safe. You can head home now." Safe is a funny word. Cole, folks think they are safe right up until they are not. He winked at Emma, climbed back on his horse, and rode off slow enough to keep her heart beating too fast. Even when Cole tried to make her laugh by teaching her how to hold a lasso, she kept glancing toward the road as if Frank might appear again. And Cole noticed. He watched her in the quiet way older men do when they care more than they know how to sew. Frank had ridden off, but his dust still hung in the air. Emma did not know when he would be back, only that men like him almost never stayed gone. The question was not if Frank would cross her path again. It was how bad it would be when he did. Emma woke up early the next morning with a knot of worry still sitting in her chest. The memory of Frank smiling at her from his saddle kept flashing through her mind like a shadow refusing to leave. But something else tugged at her, too. A quieter feeling, a feeling that came from the way Cole stepped between her and danger without a second thought. She found him already outside fixing a loose fence post. His shoulders looked tired, but his eyes softened when he saw her. "Morning, Emma. Thought you might sleep in today." She shook her head. "I wanted to help if I can." Cole hesitated, then handed her a pair of leather gloves. "All right, just stay close. This place can bite if you do not know where to step." They worked side by side in the warm Kansas sun. It was the first time she had seen anything close to a smile on his face. By midday, he led her to the corral and showed her how to brush one of the calmer horses. He showed her how to check for ticks along the neck and stones caught in the hooves, little things that could lame a horse and cost a man his livelihood. Emma hesitated when the giant creature snorted near her ear. Cole stepped behind her, his voice steady and calm. "He is gentle. Just let him know you are not scared." Emma whispered. "I'm trying." Cole nodded. "I see that." For the first time since she stepped off that train, she felt safe out on the plains. Feeling safe and being safe were two very different things. Not because danger was gone, but because someone finally stood on her side. Someone who meant what he said. Later that afternoon, while Cole repaired a broken gate, Emma sat on a stool nearby, sewing the tear in her dress. She glanced up and watched him work. His hands were rough. His movements were sure. He looked up once and caught her staring. She blushed and he turned away fast, almost dropping his hammer. As the sun began to set, Emma noticed hoofprints along the road, fresh ones circling a little too close to the house. Later when Cole walked past them, he paused and squatted down. Shod horse front shoes chipped on the left. "That is Frank's bay gelling. Emma, tomorrow I want to teach you how to fire the rifle. Folks should know how to protect themselves out here. Last time I trusted a quiet night. 3 men rode through this valley and did not leave it the same. I learned then that a promise is good, but a loaded rifle within reach is better." She nodded, but her mind was still on those hoofprints. She could not shake one hard thought. If Frank kept circling the ranch like that, what would happen the day Cole was not there to meet him? "If you are still with me, grab a cup of coffee or cold beer and tell me what time it is where you're listening from. And if you enjoy stories like this, feel free to subscribe so you never miss the next chapter." That evening, the sky over Dodge City burned orange and Emma tried to shake off the uneasy weight inside her chest out. She kept glancing toward the road, half expecting to see those same hoofprints appear again in the fresh dust. Cole noticed her worry, but he did not press her. He only said one quiet thing. "Emma, I will not let anything happen to you." She believed him, but fear has a way of settling in places a promise cannot reach. Later that night, Cole saddled his horse. He had to ride into town to meet a man about the old debt that still hung over the ranch. Emma watched him tie the last strap, her fingers gripping her apron. How long will you be gone? He gave her a small smile. A few hours, maybe less. Lock the doors and keep the lamp lit. Then he rode off into the darkness, leaving Emma alone with the quiet hum of the summer wind. Nights like this had a way of showing whether a promise was worth anything at all. Emma tried sewing to calm her nerves, but every distant sound made her jump. A shifting board, a horse snorting somewhere outside, the kind of sounds that might be nothing or might be something terrible. Then came the knock, a slow dragging knock on her door. Emma froze, her breath caught in her throat. No one visited Cole this late. No one except the one man she prayed would stay far away. Emma, you awake in there? It was Frank, his voice slurred with liquor, but still sharp enough to make her skin crawl. Open up, sweetheart. I just came to check on you. A lady gets lonely out here at night. Emma backed away from the door, heart pounding hard enough to hurt. Go home, Frank. You are not welcome here. He laughed, a low, cold sound that told her he had no intention of leaving. Come on now. You think that old rancher can keep you safe forever? Let me in, Emma. I promise you will not regret it. Suddenly, the doorknob rattled. Frank shoved the door open and staggered inside. His eyes were wild. Emma grabbed the rifle Cole kept by the door. Her hand shook so hard she could barely aim. Do not come any closer, Frank. He kept walking. You will not shoot me. You are too soft for that. But just as he reached for her wrist, the front door slammed. Cole stood there, breathless from the ride, his eyes darker than Emma had ever seen. Step away from her. And that raised a question no decent man could ignore. When a man like Cole finds another man cornering the woman he loves, how far will he go to stop him? Cole did not wait for Frank to move. He stormed across the room, grabbed the man by the collar, and slammed him against the wall with a force that made the whole house shake. Frank swung once in a wild arc, but Cole had seen meaner punches in muddy trenches back in the war. He slipped the blow, drove his fist into Frank's gut, and took the fight right out of him. Frank's smirk vanished instantly. Cole's voice came out low and deadly. If you ever come near her again, I will bury you myself. Frank's face twisted, half fear, half drunk in anger. But Cole did not let him breathe long enough to argue. He dragged him out of the house, shoved him into the dirt, and pointed straight at the dark road. Get out of here, and do not ever look back. You show your face here again, and I will let the sheriff hear every story I know about you and other folks' cattle. Frank scrambled to his horse and rode off into the night, leaving nothing behind but the sour scent of whiskey and dust. The next morning, Cole rode into Dodge City and had quiet words with the sheriff. Word spread fast in a small town, and before the week was out, Frank knew he was being watched. After that, he kept a wide stretch of prairie between himself and the Turner Ranch. When the yard grew silent again, Cole stepped back into the house. He looked at Emma with an expression she had not seen before. Not fear, not shame, just worry, he whispered. I'm sorry, Emma, I should have been here sooner. Emma set the rifle down and shook her head slowly. You came when it mattered. Over the next few days, Emma noticed something shift inside her. She had seen two kinds of men in this world. Men who took what they wanted and men who protected what they loved. Cole was a second kind. Even if he never said the word love out loud, he showed it in the way he fixed the windows, checked the locks, and always made sure she walked beside him, not behind. Weeks later, Cole asked her to meet him behind the barn. The evening sun lit the field like gold. He held out the dress she had been sewing. The same one that tore on that first day. I ain't much with a needle, but I fixed what I broke, he said softly. It was not perfect. The stitches were uneven, but Emma touched the fabric and felt her eyes warm. A man who worked this hard to fix what he had torn was a man she could trust to keep working even when life pulled at the seams. Cole took a breath. Emma, I would like you to stay as my wife. Not because of a letter, not because of a contract, but because I cannot imagine this place without you. Emma nodded before he even finished. I chose this ranch the day you chose to protect me. Later that evening, he set a small pistol on the nightstand beside her side of the bed. Keep this close, he said. My word matters, but cold iron still speaks loudest out here. Life on the plain settled into something steady after that. That fall, he drove a small herd to market and finally cleared the old note that had hung over the place for years. On quieter days, they hunted jackrabbits along the creek and mended fences before the cold winds came. And their story carried a small lesson too. Sometimes the right person does not arrive in a perfect moment. Sometimes they arrive in the middle of fear and still become the safest thing you know. And sometimes a man proves who he is not by how loud he talks but by how steady he stands when someone tries to cross his line. Tell me this. If a man like Frank ever walked into your home and talked to your wife or daughter that way, what would you do, fellas? If you have a story from your own life that fits a moment like this, drop it in the comments. If this story hit close to home, tap like so other folks can hear it, too. And if you want more Old West stories about men, women, and the lines they choose to stand on, feel free to subscribe. Now grab your coffee, or your favorite drink and tell me where are you listening from right